Robert F. Kennedy says that autism destroys families. Is this true? Is this false? Let's talk about it. So instead of getting upset about this statement, we should actually take this as an opportunity to educate the public about what autism is. A lot of people are outraged and upset, and they have the right to feel that way. But let's actually talk about autism. What does it mean? What does it look like? And what does it do to families? So this is how I define autism. Autism means that the way that you communicate with the world is different from how a neurotypical person would communicate with the world. You experience the world differently. It's not a bad thing, not a good thing, it's just a different thing. So, because we live in a world that's geared towards neurotypical people, when you're autistic and you experience the world in a different way, you're going to need some level of external support in order to first survive and then to thrive. So, with autism, we have a couple of different levels level one, two, three. The higher you go up with the levels, the more support that you'll need. So, autism doesn't destroy families, but there is an additional burden on the caregivers and for the people who support this autistic individual. Once you get the right help as an autistic individual, you are now geared for success. You can pursue the things that you want to pursue and you can live the life that you want to live. But we have to have that support. We need that external support. And as an adult, there are fewer things more embarrassing than having to rely on somebody else to get through life. That can be damaging to your self esteem. And that's a big reason why autistic people and neurodivergent individuals in general have this fight for autonomy, where you want to have things done your way, or it can be difficult to hear the word no, or it can be difficult to be shut down because you're fighting a big part of your life for your autonomy. RFK also pledged to find the cause of autism by mid September, if I remember reading the article correctly. He said by mid September, we are going to find the cause of autism. People have been searching for what causes autism for years and years and decades, and I cannot sit here and comfortably or confidently tell you what causes autism. But I do know that there is a genetic link, as it is with most mental health conditions and with most medical conditions in general. There's a genetic link when it comes to autism, ADHD, dyslexia, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. Meaning that if somebody in your family has this condition, autism specifically, there's a good chance that you may have autism. And I'm not saying that just because your grandfather or your mom had autism, it means that you have it. It just means that it wouldn't hurt to be screened for autism. And if that screening gives you any information that makes you believe that you could be autistic, then it could be helpful to be referred out for official autism testing. So I know that by mid-September, they're looking to pinpoint what has caused the autism epidemic. I want to say that's how it was worded. The reason why a lot of people are receiving autism diagnoses now, as opposed to back in the day, is because of videos like this. We're talking about this condition more. There were people who used to be punished for how they were, and nobody really had a term or a group of words that explained the behaviors that they exhibited. And that's all a diagnosis is. I say this all the time on social media. A diagnosis is just a word or a group of words. It's a term that better explains the majority of the behaviors that you exhibit. So once you know that you have autism spectrum disorder, it could be a relief. I found in my experience that most times it is a relief. You get to take a deep breath and and breathe and realize that it's not you. It was never you. You just have a condition called autism, which means that you experience the world differently and you're stuck in a world that has not been set up for your success. I also know that RFK said that we're looking into vaccines. I can save y'all a lot of time here. The vaccines do not cause autism. Newsflash, I shouldn't have to say this. I shouldn't have to go on record and say this in the video, but the vaccines do not cause autism. So I can save RFK and his whole team a lot of time. In fact, they should hire me. Let me know, RFK. You know where to find me in California. So I know the current administration is looking into vaccines, water, food, and other possible causes of autism. And there's nothing wrong with that. I actually encourage more research to be done on the condition. The more information we can get, the better. But if you ask me whether autism destroys families or not, I can't say that it does. When you don't have the proper support for an individual who's on the spectrum, that can be difficult for the family. You have a child who is getting into fights at school, somebody who aggression has picked up, and it's hard for you to manage the aggression at home, and then you're having a hard time understanding them. All these things can make it difficult for you as a parent or as a caregiver to take care of your autistic child. However, when we're talking about aggression specifically, when we reduce the aggression, our communication skills improve. So if it's an issue of impaired communication, that could be the thing that's leading to the aggression or the temper tantrums or the misunderstandings. So when you have the individual who's autistic and you don't understand them, you're bound to have a lot of issues. But when we watch these videos and we educate ourselves in the condition and we learn practical ways to help out our friends and family members who are on the spectrum, then we won't have an issue. In fact, we'll have a beautiful situation where we appreciate somebody for the differences that they have and how they experience the world without forcing them to see things from a certain perspective. All right, y'all, so those are my thoughts on whether autism destroys families or not. Clearly, I don't believe that it does. And in fact, it gives us an opportunity, a beautiful opportunity to understand somebody who experiences the world from a different perspective, in a different way. And if we all experience the world in the same way, the world will be boring. We'd have no flavor, no color to life. So, autism spectrum disorder is just a difference in how somebody experiences the world. And when we account for these differences, we put individuals in a place where they can succeed and they can do everything that they want to do.